So I have this white friend who is, as the title dares to suggest, kinda racist. There have been microaggressions.
Oh my god, I am totally darker than you. I could be Asian. Look! I could be Asian. I could totally be Asian. Look!
As well as some macroaggressions.
If you want to act, you absolutely should act.
Yeah, but if I decide to go into acting, I'm just gonna take away so many parts from women of color, and I don't wanna do that.
That's,
And some things that are just, well...
Oh wow, what's your background?
I'm a mutt. I'm just a mix of so many different backgrounds and cultures and tribes as well.
What? Dude, no you're not. You're white. You are straight up white. 100% whitey here. You are straight up white!
With everything going on in the world and the rise of Asian hate, I just feel like I really can't keep quiet about this anymore. Look, my friend, to be clear, great person. She is a good person, but she's kind of racist. And I think that describes a lot of people. Good, inherently good, but kind of racist. And it's especially heartbreaking because I know she's trying really hard. She told me.
I joined a white girl book club. We're focused on educating ourselves about race issues so that we don't have to have our BIPOC friends do the labor for us.
And I believe she genuinely wants to do good. But in order to do good, we also have to acknowledge the fact that there's a specific racism among white people. Exotification. White people who are pretending to be people of color when it's convenient and profitable for them. Like white women who want to be seen as more ethnic because they hold the racist belief that being ethnic is exotic and sexy. White men who want to be seen as more urban to make them seem edgy and cool. White people who want to try on our looks and our culture, but discard the struggles that come with our identities, and treat our skin color like an accessory or as an aesthetic. And what I've come to realize is that racism is evolving. It's more nuanced, it's more subtle, it's always been pretty systemic, but now it's also sneaky. So, for example, we know cultural appropriation is bad. And when we think of bad cultural appropriation, we think of what? White girls wearing Native American costumes for Halloween. But do you also think of how a non-black person wearing a black hairstyle is racist? So I had some friends who were white who went to Burning Man and decided to wear cornrows and got called out by the black community. They got very defensive and they were like, this is to protect my hair. I should be able to wear my hairstyle in a way that's gonna protect it. But the black community pointed out the inherent problems with this decision and this argument. And I admit, I did not fully understand this evolution of racism until I saw Amandla Stenberg's 2015 video essay, Don't Cash Crop on My Cornrows, in which she examined the parallel rise of black culture being appropriated in the music industry by white artists and being lauded for it, alongside the rise of police brutality against black people.
Police brutality against black people came to the forefront in an incredible movement ignited by the murders of Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, Eric Garner, and many others. People began to protest institutionalized racism by marching and by using social media. Celebrities spread awareness and shared condolences, or at least some did.
And this disparity, how some people take so much from black culture but refuse to stand up against the racism that comes with it, is where the issue with cornrows and other forms of cultural appropriation lies. So black and brown bodies are used as props. Their culture adopted to seem edgy. And white people profit off this image without any obligation to deal with the struggles that that culture faces. Like seriously, some people are out here wearing a grill, but they can't tweet or donate or march on behalf of Black Lives Matter. Stenberg also has a crystal clear, amazing definition of when what we're witnessing is cultural appropriation.
That itself is what is so complicated when it comes to black culture. I mean, the line between cultural appropriation and cultural exchange is always going to be blurred, but here's the thing. Appropriation occurs when a style leads to racist generalizations or stereotypes where it originated, but is deemed as high fashion, cool, or funny when the privileged take it for themselves.
So it's not that white women can't dress up as Native Americans or wear cornrows or dreads. The problem is twofold. The first issue being when the creators of the culture are seen in a racist light, but the person doing the adopting is praised for it. It's like if someone copied my essay word for word, including written by Anna Akana, and then I got an F and they got an A+. And we can't deny that black women who wear black hairstyles are vilified for it. They are discriminated against against in the workplace and the world. I witnessed firsthand on a pretty big movie. This black actor was yelled at because her hair frizzled when it rained, and the white hairstylist demanded that she come to set with her hair fully straightened. And she didn't understand that my co-star did that every single day. She woke up 2 hours before her call time every single day to straighten her hair, but obviously rain is gonna fuck with black hair. And even though my white friends who did go to Burning Man are good people, they can't wear cornrows without acknowledging that they're gonna be thought of as cool, while the same people who need that hairstyle as a method of maintenance are being thought of as unprofessional, ghetto, trashy, or thugs. The second issue is if you are taking from a culture that you're actively silent about in times of that culture's need, thereby only using it when it benefits you. So for me, it's like if a weebo who's obsessed with anime and kawaii culture decided to do a photo shoot where she dressed up as a Japanese geisha, and when I ask her, hey, when you post that photo, can you please maybe consider using the hashtag #StopAsianHate, because Asian hate crimes are at an all-time high, and clearly you love Asian culture, we could use your voice. And instead of doing that, they decide to block me and post their photo with hashtag I love sushi or something. So the answer to cultural appropriation is first, respect the culture, understand the context of what you're adopting, give appropriate recognition, and please actively be anti-racist. And I know it sounds like a lot, but really, it's not. You probably put way more effort into choosing a filter or thinking of a funny tweet. This is the bare minimum we should be doing, bro. And you can appreciate and immerse yourself in a culture with compassion for its historical context, without trying to benefit off of it when the originators are oppressed, and without pretending to be from it. Which brings me to another issue. So we all know that blackface and yellowface are bad, right? We as a society recognize, oh, no, we don't do that anymore. But blackface and yellowface have sort of died and given way to a new sneaky monster, blackfishing. I remember the first time I found out about blackfishing. Wait, are you telling me that Ariana Grande is not mixed race?
Oh no, that girl's Italian and talented.
Or her voice is to die for, but seriously, she looks like she's half black, half Latina.
Look at her before picture.
Oh my sweet spaghetti loving baby Jesus. And blackfishing just blows my mind. It's like these women were like, oh yeah, no, blackface is bad, so we're just gonna go full black body. There's so many blackfishes, I can't even begin to list them all. Look at this montage. It keeps going. It's insane. Imagine having white privilege and this is what you do with it. Of course, the most famous blackfishes are the Kardashians, and Kim is going for 2 for 1 with her cornrows here. I mean, who says you can't be an efficient racist? And I think that inherent issues with blackfishing are pretty obvious, right? These women, often influencers or celebrities, are altering their appearance in order to present as black or brown to capitalize, monetize, and fetishize an aesthetic, which, mind you, dark-skinned women and men are already shunned for. And to make matters worse, blackfishes effectively take attention away from already oppressed actual black or brown creators. Blackfishes are commodifying someone else's skin color.
Looking black but still exotic is profitable, and I'll be the first person to say, colorism is real, it's bad, and I am someone of lighter skin. I am someone who benefits from colorism, and I am well aware that there's people who are darker than me who have to work twice as much as I will in certain fields.
Annie Nova made a video about the differences between blackface and blackfishes. Her main point being blackface, in a historical context, it's usually played as a caricature with intent to mock that contemporaries nowadays are apparently doing as one-offs and jokes, whereas blackfishing is this more consistent look that someone's committing to deceive people. But Nova also acknowledges both of these things are equally problematic. One of the main issues being that white people posing as POC are taking advantage of affirmative action, thereby further oppressing an already marginalized group.
The example I can think of the damage these girls are causing to other black people is Rachel Dolezal. She went to Brown University, and that's a predominantly black university. She actually ended up getting funding and scholarships literally aimed for black people. That scholarship was meant to help a less fortunate black person wanting to study. Not only did she take up a place at this university that could have gone to an actual black person, because when she was applying, she was portraying herself as a black person. And if she needed a scholarship, she could have applied for one that wasn't aimed and created for black people.
So my white friend actually took a role designated for a woman of color. And it was not an easy conversation. So on top of pointing out the moral implications of taking a role designated for an actual WOC, I pointed out the potential blowback she would get if her career blew up and people found out about this. It was in her best interest not to take a role where the character is clearly a different race. And I, as her friend, didn't want her to get canceled. And honestly, I don't think it's that hard. Just don't take on roles that are meant for women of color. Unfortunately, she did not listen, and now she's in a film misrepresenting herself. And unfortunately, sometimes it's not even like your friends deciding to co-opt a body, but white audacity sometimes will co-opt an entire identity. Like when white poet Michael Derrick Hudson used Chinese pen name Yi-Fen Chow as an act of yellowface to get published. Hudson claimed that he submitted his poem, The Bees, the Flowers, Jesus, Ancient Tigers, Poseidon, Adam and Eve, to 40 literary magazines under his own name, and then to other publications under his pseudonym, Yi-Fen Chow, who, by the way, is actually his Chinese-American high school classmate. So the poem under Yi-Fen's name was considered for inclusion in the 2015 edition of the Best American Poetry Anthology series. And after learning about its selection, Hudson wrote to reveal, "Hi, I'm not actually an Asian woman." He said, "After a poem of mine has been rejected a multitude of times under my real name, I put Yi-Fen's name on it and send it out again. As a strategy for placing poems, this has been quite successful for me." Okay, Michael Derrick Hudson, so this is just something that you do. This is not the first time. Okay, gotcha, continue. "The poem in question was rejected under my real name 40 times before I sent it out as Yi-Fen Chow. I keep detailed submission records. As Yi-Fen, the poem was rejected 9 times before Prairie Schooner took it. If indeed this is one of the best American poems of 2015, it took quite a bit of effort to get it into print, but I'm nothing if not persistent." There's so many things wrong with Hudson's statement and who he is as a person that I don't even know if I can begin to get into deconstructing it. And a lot of people have, trust me. But the things I do want to note are what Alexander Chee, a Korean American poet and author, said, which is that Hudson not once had been asked to offer proof, nor apparently is proof available to his claim that his poem was rejected 40 times under his own name. And for someone who keeps detailed submission records, where are the rejection letter receipts? Second, and more importantly, I think, he did not have Yi-Fen Chow's permission to do this. So not only was this pretty racist and audacious, but it's personal. And I've had friends just like Michael Derrick Hudson who have told me, in earnest,
You're so lucky you're Asian. It's so hard for a straight white man to make it in the entertainment industry. No one wants us.
Hell, even my racist friend felt this way about my career. And there are a lot of white people in my circle who think that my skin color, to be clear, something I've cried over, something I've hated with my whole being and wish desperately was white, something that I struggle with endlessly in this patriarchal society, is something to envy because it's trendy right now and Crazy Rich Asians came out, so obviously racism doesn't exist anymore. And my friends who are so privileged that any sort of equality to them feels like oppression. And so they do insane shit, like everything I've been talking about in this video. Well, not everything, hopefully not everything. So what do you do when you have a friend who is kind of racist? Or let's be real, several friends who are kind of racist. Well, in some instances, I have let these friends go after conversing and realizing they're not quite willing to change or acknowledge this. Others I have educated and watched grow and have held on to. And you can only determine this on a case-by-case basis, but I will say this. All the friends I have in my life right now are actively working at detangling the racial bias that society has taught them. They're open to hearing when they've done something wrong, and they work to change any behavior that's problematic. So, if they're a friend worth having, even if they're a little racist, there's some hope. I'm Akana, and thank you to the Patreons who supported today's video. And thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode. BetterHelp's mission is to provide anyone facing life's challenges with easy, discreet, professional, convenient, and affordable access to professional counseling from a licensed therapist. After filling out a brief questionnaire about your history and what you'd like to work on, you're matched with a therapist. All 11,000 plus counselors on BetterHelp, with no exceptions, are licensed, trained, experienced, and accredited psychologists, marriage and family therapists, therapists, clinical social workers, or licensed professional counselors. They must all have a master's degree or doctorate in their field, have been certified by their state's professional board, and all possess at least 3 years and 2,000 hours of hands-on experience. Scheduling is super easy and flexible, and you pay one low flat fee for unlimited messaging and a weekly session. You can go to betterhelp.com/Akana to sign up today and get 10% off your first month. Bye.